Hello.
Hello.
Which Pokemon is this? I don't know. It's
We'll get
Pokemon.
into it. We'll get into the Pokemon towards the end.
Pokemon.
How are we doing?
Bree, you've been watching a lot of anime with your husband.
Mm-mm.
Oh, because that's what that video reminded me of. It reminded me of anime
Well, yeah.
that your husband watches.
Well, we haven't watched in a while.
Like Naruto or
I feel like I literally the
We
last time I was
finished
there,
Naruto,
yeah,
and
you
it
guys were watching
was
something.
Something else. I forgot what it was.
You watched something where people were getting married or something. I don't remember, but the last time I was there, y'all were like binging the shit.
What was after Naruto?
Yeah, it was that after one where it was like he was getting married or whatever, and we were watching that shit.
I don't remember what's after Naruto. There's another one. I feel like it starts with a G. But man, they get like they'll have like 600 freaking seasons. Like their stuff goes for days.
Isn't it shorter though too? It's not like long.
No, not really. Maybe it's Boruto. Boruto is a thing, right? Like was Naruto and then Boruto.
That's a sequel.
Okay, so it's Boruto. Okay.
Zero idea. I just want to say happy birthday to Grimace.
Happy birthday.
Do you guys have any idea who I'm talking about?
No.
no?
I love it.
Happy birthday.
Grimace is one of the mascots of McDonald's. He's the big purple monster thing. And it's his
Like Barney
birthday.
the dinosaur.
I thought that was the bandit.
Very
like
much
the
Barney,
dinosaur?
very much Barney the dinosaur looking, but he's just like a big purple monster thing. It's his birthday, and they have the Grimace shake at McDonald's. And there's this really fun trend going on TikTok where people are like, "Happy birthday, Grimace," and then they try the shake and then they die. And it's great. And McDonald's marketing hates it because everyone thinks that the Grimace shake is killing people, like it's poison. And I love it so much. So happy birthday, Grimace. Yeah, Grimace was the shake guy. Exactly, Enzo.
How did I not know about this? Like,
you guys really don't know?
Why is his name Grimace? That's like not a good marketing name.
I don't know. Should we do like a deep thoughty waba on McDonald's mascot characters?
Oh man.
I mean,
should
could they
do
be
a
considered
deep-
cryptids?
They might.
We should do a deep thoughty waba on where the potatoes for the fries come from.
Oh, how they only come from Idaho, the russet Idaho potatoes. And even if they have one blemish on them, they throw them back. McDonald's is very picky.
Very picky, but they also come from farms that are owned by, the guy, the Microsoft guy.
Oh,
Bill
well, yeah.
Gates?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Oh, yeah.
Is it genetically modified potatoes that we're eating? That's putting nanobots into our bloodstreams?
I don't know.
He has a lot of land. I mean, if I had a lot of money, I would try to buy up everything I could.
Yeah, for real. It's just smart businessman.
Why would you not?
Yeah, I agree.
You silly goose.
Fries 3.0.
Mm-hmm.
Fries 3.0. Bigger and bigger and bigger. That I can.
You know why?
I'm into.
Do y'all know why McDonald's fries taste so good?
Because of MSG.
Preservatives.
Because they put, well, they don't do it now, but they used to put, and now they put a
nicotine.
Cocaine.
Cocaine. Yeah, I was going to say. Well, they put a beef flavor substitute in their fries.
Ooh, makes them meaty.
So they used to use beef fat to fry their fries.
Yeah,
but they can't anymore.
Because everybody's like a fucking vegan.
That's not vegan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they
now
use
they use a
substitute
but
seasoning.
it's still beef flavor.
That's
How
crazy.
is there beef flavor?
I mean, that's like the same thing when the vegans try to make fucking like, turkey or whatever. They like flavor it in a certain way so it tastes like turkey. I have one fun fact for us before we jump into the cryptid, and it has to do with Coca-Cola, and I found this out recently. So you know how everyone makes jokes that Coca-Cola was made with cocaine back in the day?
Mhm.
Okay, it still technically is. It still technically is. So medical grade labs use cocaine in a lot of things, specifically like topical like numbing creams and stuff, like when they do surgeries and things like that. And
Mhm.
after they take all the cocoa out of the leaves, the Coke company buys them, and they still to this day use those to flavor Coke.
Interesting. Wow.
I don't know if that means that it's.
I'm not saying
made
like
with Coke.
cocaine, but like coca leaves are still technically used in cocaine or in Coke.
So I'm gonna say because last
It's a stretch, though.
October, me and Danielle were in Peru, and we had coca tea, which
I'm
is
trying to
just
get some of that.
tea made from cocaine leaves. Super good. That stuff was so good. And it was just
was
like
it good? Did it get
it
you
was-
jazzed?
Well, it did a really good job of warding off the altitude sickness.
Yeah, that's
from
what a lot of people say.
where we
Interesting.
were.
Yeah, a lot of people
But
say that it helps with that.
It didn't give you a high. It was just really good.
Well, that sounds really boring.
That sounds
to be
boring.
honest.
Yeah,
I was hoping you'd be like, I was kind of chewing my
fucked
cheeks a little
up.
bit.
like I ran to the top of that fucking mountain, and I've never been faster. Like I thought you were gonna be
No,
like, yeah,
no, it just made you.
I raced a puma.
yeah.
Like, I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, sounds great. Let's go do it. Yeah. Now,
No,
like, yeah,
it
it's
just.
all right. It helps with my seasickness. Like it's like, oh, okay.
It just made you, not have altitude sickness, and it was really good to drink. It was flavorful.
Listen. I've been to the bottoms of the oceans and the tops of mountains. Ain't nothing getting me sick. Nothing.
Yeah, I don't get sick like that.
So if
it
you guys-
wouldn't be purposeful for me. I'd be like, where's the real shit?
If
That's
you
what I'm
guys
saying,
haven't
exactly.
noticed, Bobby's not here today.
Yeah, Bobby's in a cryptid coma. He's busy and he abandoned us like he does
Yeah.
often. What do you expect?
So I want to give a shout out to Tommy G.
Ooh, there you go. Get it, Tommy.
Aaron Desario's here.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey,
Hey,
Aaron.
Aaron. Aaron Desario is probably one of the coolest fucking people I've ever met.
No, he's so sweet.
You know what?
Such a good guy.
My parents were like, did we scare Aaron away? And I was like, what do you mean?
No.
And they're like, well, we chatted with him, and then that was the last we ever saw him again. like he got up and then just never came back. And I was like, well, maybe he just I wasn't there, so I don't know what the conversation was.
No,
No,
he
your
went
parents-
to bed early, and then
Yeah.
he probably your parents were always floating around and doing stuff, so I probably just never ran into him again. But that's funny.
So funny that they thought that. They're like, I think we scared him.
We scared Aaron. We love Aaron. I love Aaron to
Yeah.
death. Aaron and your
Aaron
dad
is such a
shared
good guy.
Apple horror stories.
Yep.
Oh, they did?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But that was
Mhm.
fun.
Funny.
Yeah, they bonded over it.
That's
And-
like, you get post Apple PTSD. For sure. Wait, you don't post, just Apple PTSD.
Just pass.
So
Is there an-
You call that
PAPTSD. Yeah,
PTSD.
Yeah.
PA
Papa stuff.
Post Apple stress.
disorder.
Post
For
traumatic
sure.
stress disorder. Fuck, we can't speak or spell, guys, and we're researchers.
And
Yeah,
so
we're-
tonight is gonna be great considering where we are going.
Speaking of our incompetence, let's get to our cryptid.
Well, hold on. We have Alex.
Keep going.
Christoph, Danielle is here. Down Jones Muller is here.
Love it,
Enzo's
vibes.
here.
Enzo.
Hides and Long Grass is here. We can't do episodes unless Hides and Long Grass and Enzo are here, and then we're here. So
Hey, Tony, what are we talking about tonight?
we're talking about the Kappa.
Kappa. What the hell? What the
Look what's
hell?
going on in this.
Ooh, Kari, you are just always so adventurous in all of our cryptid adventures.
I know, right? I am the chosen one. I can ride the Kappa.
Looks great.
You could
We should have
ride the
put
Kappa.
Bobby's somewhere underneath its hand.
I know.
Yeah.
I should have put Bobby's face under its little
Squish.
skull drowning. Yeah.
trying to come up for air.
Yeah, please help.
So the Kappa is kind of a weird creature. Let's go to the next one.
Ooh, before we get into it, like any great cryptid, there's a great beer to talk about. So we have the just nicely named Kappa from 12 West Brewing Company in Gilbert, Arizona. It's a Japanese-style rice lager, 5.2% alcohol by volume, and it's made with puffed jasmine rice. And I'm going to tell you right now, that sounds delish to me. I hate beer, and I don't really like hops, so something that's made with like jasmine rice, like it looks the color of piss beer. And I like piss beer because piss beer doesn't taste like beer. So I'm very interested to try this one, like 1,000%.
Oh, absolutely.
It does look very cool.
We should try it first, though.
I want to so bad, and I love the imagery on it. This is another one where they like went full cryptid on the thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love the way the can is presented. I love the way that it's like they went all out with the rice lager.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Super good.
Absolutely.
Love it. Love it.
What an angel.
So the crypto hazard meter on this guy is kind of approach at your own risk.
Okay.
So kappas can be dangerous, but they can also not be dangerous. It all depends on not you, but the kappa that you are interacting with, which is what makes this cryptid kind of interesting, right? Like this, they all have their own personality. They're not just all
It's like a human.
certain way. Yeah.
Like, what would you guys do if imagine somewhere else someone looks up like weird humans, and they were like, what would they do? They would probably put alert, approach at your own risk.
So yeah, this is kind of how they are. So their stats, they are child sized, and
Small boys.
we're going to get into that. They have a shell like a turtle, which is weird. They also have 3 anuses.
Oh, fun. They're a party.
Because Japan is a weird country. So everything out of Japan is really fucking weird. They also have webbed feet and hands, and they are stronger than a grown man.
Interesting.
Do you think the country, like, is it just the culture has more of a fascination with the anus? Like, I'm really confused on why that had to be added.
Well, that is one of the defining factors of a kappa, is that it has 3 anuses, and that shouldn't be a surprise because there are species of ducks that have 4 or 5 vaginas.
What?
Yeah, absolutely.
So ducks actually, their dicks are screwed.
Yeah, duck
shaped.
vaginas are wild. Yeah, because they're like weird little parasite-looking things. Like they're like little tapeworm-looking motherfuckers that, like, when they go inside the vagina, they like unfurl themselves. Yeah.
So this is not a
You guys didn't know
weird
this?
thing for nature.
I knew about the duck penis, but not the 5 vaginas. What?
Oh yeah, that's why it's shaped that way. Because it's trying to navigate all the fake vaginas. Yeah.
What the hell? Okay,
You
but I'm just
learn
thinking
shit
from a
on
biological standpoint, it's like, does that mean that the sphincter is connected to the same stomach, or would they then have 3 stomachs?
No, it's all connected to the same stomach. It's just they fart. This is part of the lore.
Okay.
They fart and they stink more than a human. And it's... we'll get into it.
Okay.
All right.
Japan. So where else would they come from?
Japan.
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 And what's interesting about Japan too is Japan is very much like covered surrounded by water and has lots of
Yes.
waterfalls and things inside of it. So they have a lot of water-based cryptids from Japan.
Yes, and having been to Japan, having been to Kamakura, Akihabara, Kawasaki,
Damn.
Yokohama, Tokyo.
They just name dropping Japan cities.
You went to all the bicycle places. All bikes.
Yes.
just like
but
American bombs, visiting them all.
Dang.
Sorry.
That joke bombed.
I have a joke for that. I have a joke for that, and it's coming. Don't worry. So Japan is if you've never been, if you've only seen it through pictures or video, Japan is one of the most beautiful countries you could ever go to. And it's one of the safest countries you could ever go to.
Green.
It's
Basically
amazing.
the same as the Pacific Northwest, like British Columbia. It's the same terrain.
Yeah,
Mm.
not
Oh, really?
Seattle or Portland,
But like Canada. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it
is that
was,
Nova Scotia?
just
Oh, okay.
better. It's a beautiful place to go. The people are very respectful. If you have the chance
love
to
it.
go, take it. Yeah.
I'd love
Tony's
to learn
recommendation
a
is if
language.
you join the military, get stationed in Japan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you'll find a great wife.
We want you.
All right, give us an action. Ooh,
Oh,
car.
it's me. It's me. Strap
Hi.
in.
I
So,
like the alien.
right? I'll just pop him in there. So the origins of the kappa can be traced back to ancient Japan, which we've spoken about, and it was first mentioned in written records during the Edo period, which was 1603 to 1868. And the kappa is said to inhabit rivers, lakes, and other bodies of water, displaying a peculiar mix of humanoid and turtle-like features, which is, you can see them illustrated there.
Turtle.
Another possible origin of the kappa is the Portuguese monks who landed in Japan in the 16th century. The monks had shaved pates and wore long wooded robes, which resembled the turtle shell depicted on many kappa. Also, the word kappa is the Portuguese word for a monk's habit, and this would have carried over to the Japanese language. One thing is for sure, and that is that the tales of the kappa were and still are told to children to warn them about going swimming alone in dangerous spots, as well as what lies beneath the waters. And in many tales, kappas kill their victims for the sole purpose of eating their livers or their shirikodama, which was a magical ball that many ancient Japanese believed resided in a person's anus.
Oh, here we go with the buttholes
I
again.
know, there we go
Butthole
again.
theme. Yeah. There you go, Bree. It answered your question.
Right? The kappa
There's a
would have to
magical
get the
ball in your butthole, and somebody wants to eat it. Is that why all men are so obsessed with buttholes?
Maybe.
Is that what it is? Because they think that there's a
Is
magic
that
ball in
your
there that they
experience
have
of
to
men
eat?
that they're all?
There's just something wrong with that.
Every
Yeah.
man in my life has tried to put like his finger in my butthole. Yeah, for sure.
Good to know.
True story.
This is why none of us
I'm
went
hot.
to good schools.
I went to private schools. I don't know what you're talking about.
And yet here you are.
Go ahead, Kari. Sorry to interrupt.
In many legends, kappa are said to have kidnapped and brutally ravished women. Some of these women bore the kappa's child, which was usually buried after birth.
Oh my
Aw.
I
god.
know, that's pretty crazy.
Rape.
Don't
In
care
other
about
legends,
hybrids.
kappa have also been portrayed as attacking and drowning animals, in particular horses, in which kappa are said to share a strong link, which makes me think there was some kind of like war between the kappa and the horses at some point.
Like some trauma that they had, and they
Yeah.
were like, fuck these creatures.
Right. However, in many of the legends, kappa are caught trying to drown the horses and usually apologize for the act, promising to never do it again. Throughout history, tales of the kappa have been used as cautionary tales to warn children about the dangers of playing near water. And this is really similar to the Kelpie myth here in the UK. Like, it's the same kind of thing was told to kids, 100 years ago, 200 years ago.
We're not even talking about
Oh, no.
that.
Next slide, please.
Given next.
Okay.
Oh,
So
shit.
parents would tell stories of the Kappa's pranks, which range from stealing crops and livestock to dragging unsuspecting victims to the depths of rivers and lakes. These cautionary tales served as a way to instill a healthy respect for water and reinforce the importance of safety, which before we had like infomercials and adverts and stuff it was all fairy tales and childhood stories. In addition to its mischievous nature, the Kappa was also believed to possess knowledge of medicine and healing. According to folklore, it has a small dish-like depression on the top of its head that holds a sacred healing stone called the Shurikodama, which is the ball he's taking from people's buttholes.
Balls. He's putting it in his head.
Yeah, he keeps it on his head.
Like an infinity stone.
Yeah, it's like a sacred healing stone, right?
Oh my god, okay.
Right? It's weird.
Is there water in there too? Is it washed off at least?
Well, I guess it's like a dome, right? So
It holds the water.
Yeah.
Well, it says it's like a depression, like a little bowl.
Yep.
So it is said that if one were to capture a Kappa and extract this stone, it could be used to cure various ailments and even grant immortality. As time passed, the tales of the Kappa became deeply ingrained in Japanese culture, and they were depicted in various forms of art, literature, and theater, adding to their mystique and popularity throughout time. The Kappa are known to favor cucumbers and love to engage in sumo wrestling.
Oh, fun facts.
Is that a cucumber?
Tony's
That's
eating a cucumber.
I've been eating a cucumber that I grew in my garden.
Right on.
Okay.
Well,
I
okay.
feel like
I have to say my wife grew it. Otherwise, she's going to get very angry at me. All I did was build the boxes that it was grown in.
Gotcha.
But it tastes great.
Yeah, I like cucumbers. I don't eat a lot of cucumbers in my normal everyday life, but I will never turn a cucumber down. I hear, aren't cats afraid of cucumbers?
Yes.
If you lay them next to them while they're eating.
they think it's a snake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like traumatized by it.
Not wrong. Absolutely correct.
All right, KARI, keep going.
That was it.
no, it's like
That was the end of my slide.
We're
it's
just
Phoebe's
waiting for
turn.
Brady to come back.
I do want to say though, I think it's weird because like I feel like when people talk about butthole stuff, it's always like cucumbers are like an eggplant.
Oh, eggplants come into this later, honey. Don't worry, we'll get there. Yeah, really.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is almost like more modern day origins. Not necessarily modern day, but I think how it came from way, way back in the day, a little bit closer to home. And then I know we'll touch base on what it's like for current times. So this is, there was an old town. I'm gonna butcher that. It's hard to say. Tanishimaru. Tanishimaru. And in Fukuoka, Japan. It was like a small town. There was 3 other small districts, and they all merged into this larger city, Kurume. So in that original small town, Tanishimaru, their legend states that it was where the Kappa originated from, that it was their local river. So throughout the town, they have all of these different monuments and shrines, and they leave offerings to the Kappa like cucumbers and sake. So this is just a couple pictures of some of the shrines that they have in the monument and the sake that they're leaving for them. So it became a little bit of a destination place for people because of the heavy lore, and you can go to all of these many different spots in the town and see, learn a little bit more about the history. And of course they play up on it. But I think that's pretty cool that they honor it in that way. And they believe that that's where the Kappa originates from. So they passed down this legend that the story of the Kappa they started in the Yellow River of China, and that this one clan in Kappa migrated to the Kumagara River in Japan, and it's also referred to as like Kumagara
Kumagawa.
River. And whoa, what the hell happened here?
Just so
Okay,
we're
well, that's
aware,
not helpful.
I didn't do this slide.
That's not helpful. I don't know how that got here, but if you can even look behind it, it's like this little part of Japan is this giant river, and it's actually the biggest river there in Japan.
Canva was legit wild this
Yeah,
whole time
it
we
was-
did this.
Yeah, it was not having fun.
It was
How does it just like
It was.
who added all of those?
I didn't, and this is my slide. It was done. That's so weird. I don't
Were
know if you
those
guys
on
can
your slide?
see. I didn't put them there.
So I'm saying, who put them there?
Who put that there?
I didn't. I saw it. I was like,
I saw it too, and I was like, all right, Brie, bold design choice, but I just like kept going. I was like, whatever. Okay.
That's what I said. I
You
saw it
guys-
and I was just like,
You guys for real?
okay, well, that's
For real?
I really,
For real?
I did 100% see it, and I was like, okay, Brie, if this is your story.
Oh my god. I feel like would it be awkward if I stopped sharing and delete it really quick?
No,
No.
No.
just
Wait,
just
no,
let it
not
go.
awkward or let it go. Okay.
Just let it go, let it go.
Because I feel like you guys can't see the whole point anymore. I was just trying to show you how like large this river is, and it is their largest river. And that's kind of cool to know that that's where they think the Kappa comes from. Learning more about it, it's very heavy known in Japan. It was like I mean, I just learned about this. And you can go now these days and do whitewater rafting. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Ooh. We can go whitewater rafting to look for the Kappa.
Yes. So the story is that a clan of Kappa, this is just one of the stories,
Mhm.
that a clan of Kappa migrated, and this is not a small clan by any means. There was 9,000 plus Kappa, and they were referred to as Kuzenbo. They were named after their leader, their king, Kuzenbo. So this is him right here. He's their leader to all 9,000 of his little troops.
Wow.
Yeah. One of the stories here is that Kato Kyo Masa, who was an actual warrior leader in Japan, that he was the one who kind of brought the downfall of him. He called on the monkeys of Kyushu to help fight the Kappa. And the Kappa, the monkeys were their worst enemies because they could see Kappa anywhere they were when they were invisible to humans. So apparently that makes them a little bit mystical in that sense. For humans not to always see them, but for these monkeys to, to us, our naked eye.
Monkeys can see special things that humans cannot. I like it.
Yes. So this is an older, some older art of him and his monkey here. So he summons all these monkeys to go fight these 9,000 plus Kappa. And the Kappa was defeated and then moved to Kumamoto and settled in a new river, Chikuagawa. What's weird about that is the second that they move to this other river, they then become keepers of this river, and they help control the water flow of the wild river, and turned into more. They went from kind of these succubus type beings, kind of exalted into a higher purpose. They became a water deity. So this was the story that transforms them into a water spirit. And that's where the split comes when you look up the Kappa. They're either this anus blood-sucking creature, or they can be seen as a water spirit. They're on the water watching the wild rivers.
Damn.
I really like his hair. It's
Yeah,
like
me too.
The reverse mohawk looks so alien.
You also
on his
like
arm.
you like beards.
Okay, yeah. Now the other story of Kuzenbo is him against Sha Wuxing. And this is the great battle, what I am calling the great battle to become king of Kappa.
I think I saw this Godzilla movie.
Kind of looks like it, actually.
Yeah. By the way, if you're following along, just drink this entire episode.
Yeah, let's just I'm trying to just like roll and just be like, that's what it is. It's Kiwa Shakawa.
I'm gonna drink my milk like a villain.
I made one of Corey's drinks because I wanted some alcohol, and it's the most disgusting thing I've ever had in my life. It tastes like thick, sugary syrup, and I wanted.
What is it?
The whipped cream, vodka, and Dr. Pepper is what his go-to drink is.
What?
Syrupy. Just more ice.
So syrupy. It's so syrupy.
Yeah.
It's wild, but that's like not when he goes out to a bar, but like his at-home drink, it is whipped cream flavored vodka and Dr. Pepper. When he's out, it's usually a Crown and Coke, which is much more acceptable. But this, I don't know if anyone has seen my face as I've been drinking this, but I literally grimace every time.
I don't think
I'm
it's
still
that bad.
processing
It
that.
is.
That sounds disgusing.
It is syrupy, but it's not
just
bad.
not good.
It's like the same thing as almost like a root beer float.
Very
Okay.
much,
Dr.
yeah.
Pepper.
I don't think it's Pinnacle, no. Hold on, let me look.
No,
think it is.
it would be
Or-
like a root beer float if
Guy.
you stuck your dick in a door jamb and slammed the door on it.
Okay.
It
Okay.
is Pinnacle.
Okay,
It is
so
Pinnacle. Of course it is.
Pinnacle. They always have the sweet ones.
Well, I think we just hit the
cream,
pinnacle of the
vanilla. We did. Okay, so so this is the other legend here of how Kuzenbo became the king of Kappa. And this legend is a little bit different. It doesn't originate from just a small town. It originated from Kamishibai, which is a Japanese street theater. Way back in the day, you have nothing to do, and you'd find people on the streets with these stories of samurais and these battles against dragons and things like that. So this is one of the stories there, and the story is that Kuzenbo was imprisoned in a mountain, and it was blasted all the way to the Duncan Plateau in India from lightning, just a strike of lightning, and it blasted him across, but he was still imprisoned in that mountain. And so after he was imprisoned, after that whole thing went down, Sha Wuxing, who was a water deity, he rose from the Yellow River in China. You can compare that to our old story where they said they started in China, then they came down here. So this is before they made it to Japan, that he rose from this Yellow River in China, and he battled Kuzenbo, the Mountain Kappa, against so it's basically this Mountain Kappa against the River Kappa. So this is the first introduction, as well as there being kind of two different types of Kappa. There's the Mountain Kappa, kind of the ground and the rock, and then the water, the River Kappa.
There's Kappa gangs.
There's Kappa gangs.
Whoa, they're like not on my turf, not on my land. I own the ocean, bitch. Get off. No,
and
selling
maybe this
your,
is
no
a
selling your
bit,
Kappa stones here.
Oceanside for life.
I mean, it almost seems like I don't know, maybe like Japan versus, I don't know if you want to think about it in a country sense, but yes. So we have this water deity, and then this Sha Wuxing and Kuzenbo, the Mountain Kappa, fighting over who is to be just overall king of all of the Kappa.
Damn.
And they have this battle in a traditional anime style, like who can throw the biggest boulder. So in my head, I see like the flashing lights, and they're just like, like jumping up in the air for days, and then like throwing these giant megaliths. and they're basically just comparing their strength. So it's like who is a stronger leader, who is stronger, who is better, and eventually it was Kuzenbo who threw the biggest and heaviest monolith that apparently was 9,000 tons, and he threw it the farthest. And Sha Wuxing had to bow down, and Kuzenbo won the match. And so with this, he not only was he free of that mountain, but he became the king of all Kappa, and that's how he gathered 9,000 Kappa members in his clan. He was king of the waters, of the mountains, just everywhere. And so they started there in China, and he sent out his Kappa to then travel to Korea and then make their way down to Japan, and sent them to settle in every river in the country. And he currently watches them atop the mountain Kuzenbayama.
Wow.
Right on.
Pretty cool.
Okay. That's pretty
I
cool.
I take the second story over
Very
the first
magna.
story.
Or MAGA? Very MAGA. Is that what it is?
Manga.
Manga. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not mega.
You just say very MAGA. Oh no.
Like Donald Trump. Pledge allegiance to the Republicans.
I think it's pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
into
very
the story. If anything, they should make movies about it.
Oh,
I think they probably did. I mean,
They probably
Teenage
did,
Mutant
yeah.
Ninja Turtles.
Mhm.
Also, I don't know if you guys can see, but this Kappa in particular, his little head dish goes
Bowl.
very deep. His
He
bowl
has
goes
no
very-
brain.
Yeah, it just looks like they scooped.
Maybe
his
that's why he
brains.
lost.
No, he won.
Oh, maybe that's why he won.
Yes. Next slide.
So, if anyone missed the two stories there at the end of the day, Kuzenbo
I just
is
didn't know
the
which was
king
which.
of all Kappa.
I got
no
what
matter
you're saying. I just didn't know which one was which. My bad. I apologize.
No, it's all good. I'm just
Oh.
saying, just so everyone knows.
Gotcha. All right, Tones Malones.
Oh yeah, this is mine. You changed the entire.
Yeah, I did your slides because it
Yes.
sucked.
You redid my slides.
Yeah.
So I gotta find my text. Okay, so fuck this thing.
Yeah.
It's
Why does this look like Russian?
Ryunosuke Akatawaga's novel Kappa. In 1927, the Japanese author, who just drank because I can't say that, released his novel Kappa. Sadly enough, this would be one of his final novels, as he committed just a few months or so after publication of the novel. In Kappa, we read one man's journey from a Japanese mental ward to Kappa Land. Oh boy, Kappa Land. He encounters Kappa and he learns more about this intriguing race, is both surprised and shocked by their social norms and culture. Kappa is a satire of a Japanese society and quite possibly a manifestation of emotional and mental despair. Akutawaga was experiencing at the time that he wrote this novel. So this novel was also called Gulliver in Kappa Land.
Huh.
That was the English translation, like the footnote that he decided to put at the bottom of this. And I think it kind of leans against the ideology of what a kappa is and kind of what are they benevolent? Are they benevolent? I don't know if this was just a Japanese author who just decided to write a book about something and decided to include Kappa into it. I'm really torn with this story.
So let me get this straight. I'm having a hard time following just a little bit. So he was obviously mentally challenged a little bit, right? Mentally
Well,
challenged. I mean, like
No,
a
depressed.
mental illness.
Yeah.
he was
mental
depressed.
illness. Yeah, depressed.
Yeah.
Okay. So he offs himself after he publishes the novel.
Mm-hmm.
And is the novel itself about him having a hard mental time and
So
then
that's kind of-
falling into Kappa Land?
That's kind of the story of it.
It goes into Kappa.
And
Yes.
this is where when I was researching this particular part, it had a lot of callbacks to Dante's Inferno, where when
Interesting.
Dante Alighieri wrote that book, it was that poem. It's not a book; it's a poem. When he wrote that, he was calling out all his political detractors and putting them in hell and everything else. This feels like the same thing, but light. Like,
right. Well, it's just a satire of the culture that he's in. It's a
yes, but not
satire.
done as well, or not done to the cultural point, because culturally the people did not welcome the book, whereas Dante's Inferno was the first book that was ever that was ever published in Italian and not Latin, like everything was published before then. But it just feels like he was angry, he was upset at society in the way the world was going, so he wrote this book. But then he also said it was kind of like Gulliver's Travels, but with kappas. And then it just seems like he sold himself out by saying that he ripped off another publication.
He made that admittance flat out. He's like, "Oh yeah, fucked it up."
Well, he called it Gulliver Travels to Kappa Land. That was the English translation before he committed. So it just seems, it's sad because I'm probably gonna get this book and read it just to see what
If
he
you
wrote.
go to Kappa Land and you also,
But
it's one of those things.
you know,
It's like
That's actually
It's
a really good premise for a Japanese horror story where you read a book and then die at the end. It's like The Ring, but the
Oh,
book
yeah.
I was
version.
gonna say 7 days.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You have 7 days after you read the first chapter. The first
But
chapter is
bring
only
me
one
a
paragraph,
Leave one cucumber outside each night.
or it will get you.
All right, give us the next one. Let's get into the sightings and what people have encountered with these. So the first one we're going to talk about is Sushimis Midnight Children. Tsushima. On August 1st, 1984, a squid fisherman by the name of Ryu Shirokikaz was walking home from a local pier after work, and he passed by the Kato River, and he came across what appeared to be a group of children playing at the water's edge. While it wouldn't have been entirely uncommon to see people fishing in the river at this time, it was strange to see children playing there. So he approached the beings, and he became struck about how strange they appeared in the moonlight. They had swarthy faces, unusually spindly arms and legs, and skin that glistened in the light. He called out to them as he neared, but they seemed to be surprised by this and swiftly vanished into the water. The next morning, he discovered a set of slimy, teardrop-shaped footprints near the pavement. The prints considered a bizarre gelatinous substance around them, and it began to coagulate in the sun. And their path that he saw, like where the marks were, was about 20 meters long, and each print measured about 22 centimeters long, 12 centimeters wide. They were spaced roughly 50 to 60 centimeters apart. So him and a few other curious onlookers suspected that the prints belonged to the Kappa, and this rumor quickly spread around town. So here's a story that kind of like loses its credibility, unfortunately, because it's like it's been told over time, but like unfortunately with the time period, you have no opportunity of taking photos or like documenting what it is that they saw. It's literally just kind of a tale that's been told since, you know, a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks. I mean, it was shit. It was 84. Like, come on, we got people from
I don't think they
70s.
I don't think in
cats.
rural Japan they have just like cameras in their back pocket like we do today. You get what I'm saying?
Cameras. But I don't know. They could probably make some clay or something. Make a cast.
They didn't even do that. All right, give us the next one.
Oop.
So this one is the Yoko Shuka lizard man. So there were two construction workers by the name of Makato and Toshio, and they were fishing off a stone seawall near a U.S. Navy base in the Japanese port city of Yokoshima in December of 1978, when they saw something that they would never forget. One of them recalls that it popped up from beneath the surface and just stood there. It was not a fish, an animal, or man. It was about 3 meters in height and was covered in thick, scaly skin like a reptile. It had a face and two large yellow eyes that seemed to be focused on them. The witnesses described the entity as a kappa, which is, you know, what we've been talking about. So it's interesting that you have this other like coming up from the ocean now. So we're getting kind of away from the rivers and more to just any bodies of water. And it is in line with them being like short little. Like he didn't say it was tall. It was just like a little 3 foot tall motherfucker.
Short.
It sounds like a freaking little Draco or something. Like honestly, a lot of these kind of sound like they could be reptilian, but because of the area, it gets labeled like a kappa.
For sure. So the last one is two cops and a kappa. So according to a Mysterious Universe article, there was two cops in the 1970s who said they had seen like a form hunched over on the side of a country road at dusk. And the officers showed up and approached the being, thinking it might have been maybe like a small child or something like that, like maybe lost or in trouble. But as they grew closer, the entity reared up and they could see that it was not a child at all, but rather a child-sized creature that resembled a cross between a monkey, a frog, and had prominent claws and eyes that were described as large and piercing. The contemporary kappa was then said to have chattered in its high-pitched voice before running briskly on two legs across the road and into a bush. Although the information is kind of limited on this, it's another one of those like passed down to the generations. We also have one thing missing from the story too, is the presence of water.
Oh,
Interesting. How far from the water was it?
Doesn't say. Just no water mention, whereas all the other accounts do. But here's why I bring this one up, because we'll get to the next one. Tony.
How to defeat. So
No,
the best way.
You missed one.
That's the next slide.
No, the Hoshibu buoy.
here, I'll
There
go
you go.
back.
Oh, the little kitty butt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
These little motherfuckers are creepy as shit.
And this makes sense because they said it had hair on it, more monkey-like.
So the Haisube Drake. I said that word wrong as fuck.
And here's your eggplants.
Child-sized river monsters from Kyushu that live in underwater caves. The douchebags are often mistaken for the kappa, but have distinct differences. Although kappa are often said to like cucumbers, which is why I was eating a cucumber. It's gone. Sorry. The Hayasube are said to like eggplants. They are also considered to be extremely hairy in appearance. Something the kappa don't have. They're scaly. They're like turtles. They are like cousins to the kappa. It is said that those who see these creatures would be affected with a fever of an unknown cause, and this fever would cause a disease that would even spread to other people around them. So it's like STD, right?
Ooh,
But
yeah.
without touching anybody.
With your eyeballs, yeah.
Yeah. So there's also a story about a woman who saw one ravaging an eggplant field who subsequently had an illness that caused her entire body to become purple, which eventually led to her death.
Which is probably
what
why
is
they're
the disease?
associated with the eggplants.
Yeah.
Because that one story.
That one
And they
story.
don't say like what the illness is. It's like you get a
No, just
A
well, you have to,
fever.
yeah, you have to remember like of
You
the
got a
time.
disease.
This is back in the day where they
got
like
a
didn't
disease.
know what things were. Yeah, it's just you have a disease and
What
you're
are the-
dying.
Right.
It's like,
Like
well,
this
what are the
is like
symptoms?
A
this
fever.
is like in
And purple and then die.
yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
This is like the
Eggplant
late
disorder.
1800s in America where they were like, "Oh, you have ghosts. Here's some cocaine."
Yeah, they had a lot of weird cures for things, and I would imagine if you turned the color of an eggplant, they would be like, "Oh yeah, you have eggplant disease."
Yeah,
I
you
got
got
some
the
snake
eggplant
oil I
disorder.
can sell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What is
All right,
the
give
deal
us-
with this? I really want to talk about this, but should we just talk about it after?
We can talk about it
Well,
after.
it's so the strange thing about these are okay. So do we want to talk about one of the reasons why to explain this, or do we want to wait until?
Yeah, wait till Factor Sci-Fi at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys
So
want to
we'll wait.
do you want to do
All right.
this or we're doing this?
We'll go
We should
to
do
the-
modern day. Yeah, not.
No,
How to
shouldn't you
defeat.
do how to defeat?
Oh yeah, do how to
Yeah.
defeat. Go for it.
Okay, so how to defeat a Kappa. So they are, regardless of the fact that they are demons or water spirits or whatever you want to call them, they, for some reason, are very big on human etiquette. And in Japan, if you bow, they will bow as well. And if you do a deep bow, they will bow just as deep as you will, and all the water will spill out of the cap on their head, which renders them powerless. So as long as they have water up here in that little cap on their head, then
Kappa.
Kappa cap.
Oh.
So long as they
Defetti.
have water up there, they can do whatever they want. But if you bow deeply to them, they will bow in response, even though
all their water will
render
pour
them
out.
powerless.
Got you. So you could trick them easily
Yes.
with customs. I love it.
That's cool. Kill
I
them
like
with
the-
kindness.
So simple.
Well, yeah.
All right, give us the modern day Kappa B. So the Kappa is still a creature of legend and fable in modern day Japan. However, they have really shied away from the whole like bad side of the Kappa, and the Kappa is seen as more of a silly, lovable kind of like monster instead of some fearsome creature. Think about it more as like the way that we think about like Hello Kitty. They're on lunch boxes, they're dolls, they're pendants, they're backpacks. They've become like a popular part of the merchandise over the past few decades inside of Japan. Like they have phone cases, keychains, stickers, shirts. Like it's more of like a funny, hilarious, like, oh my God, water monster. That like the kind of like the way we think about Bigfoot now. You know what I mean? Like in America, like we think it's like a funny commercialized things and it goes on tons of like merchandise and stuff. That's what the Kappa is in Japan now. Some of the fun things that we have are in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, the titular turtles accidentally activate the time scepter, a mythical artifact, and end up traveling back to a time to the beginning of the Edo period, more specifically 1603. Running as a gag, some of the townspeople who interact with them are frightened by their appearance and mistakenly think that they're Kappa throughout the entire movie.
Oh, that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
The bad guy in that movie, well, the leader of the bad clan in that movie refers to them as Kappa the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so do the people who fight them. So there's that relates it to like the turtle part of they look like turtles. They first met them by the river when they fought them.
They're humanoid.
Yep. So just Kappa all the way. But nobody knew first seeing that movie what Kappa meant.
What it really was, yeah.
Yeah.
So we also have in Resident Evil, one of the 4 Lord antagonists, Montaru, is inspired after the Kappa. There are also several Pokemon based on the Kappa, most notably Golduck, and the entire evolutionary family of Lotad, Lombre, and Ludicolo. And then numerous Kappa villagers appear across the Animal Crossing franchise.
How funny. I didn't know that.
Mhm. It is deeply
That's so
ingrained. Yeah.
And they say Kappa on it in Animal Crossing too.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like that little one in the right hand corner or the left hand corner right there. That's one of the
Isn't
characters.
Kappa a Super Mario character that's a turtle?
Maybe.
That's a
I don't
Kumba.
know. Oh.
Kumba.
Kumba.
But yeah, in Animal Crossing, yeah, the one right there on the left, Bree, that's the little Kappa character.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know that they would put on.
You even
the
see
name
it has even the
Kappa.
look. It even has a little
It's got
indent on the
little flat
head. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's cool. I like it.
All right, give us our factor sci-fi, BB. Let's get into it. Tony, we'll let you go first since you're the captain.
All right, so I'm gonna say, oof, boy, I'm gonna say this is a fact, but we give a but because we didn't talk about it. The horrifying origins of the story of the Kappa. So where this originally came from was the fact that poor families would throw their unalive children into the rivers because they could not care for them and they would unalive them.
Mm.
So this kind of story came up to keep people from going to the rivers.
Oh.
Just so they wouldn't have to see those horrifying things. But I also think that there is something there because there is people who have seen these creatures, whether or not these creatures are ferrying these not alive children to the afterlife or to the next dimension. I'm going to give it a 10. I'm going to say it's real. I'm going to say it's real. But I'm just going to say that there's a lot of nefarious shit that happened.
With
and
all
I think
cryptids.
that they are a necessary mode of moving human evil out of the world.
Wait, say that again? Moving human evil out of the world?
Yeah, because people were throwing their kids into the river.
Well, if it was unalive, what else are you going to do with it?
Well,
I mean, realistically, it's a water burial.
Yeah. So it's just like the river Styx. They're doing the same thing. Except you don't have to put coins over their eyes.
All right, I'm going to give this one a fact because I believe first of all, I know for a fact that there is giant turtles because I recently saw a petrified turtle and it was fucking wild looking and looked like one of these fucking Kappa things. So like, I truly believe that there's a possibility that there's a giant turtle-like cryptid out there that we just don't know. The waters are so vast and everything fucking connects underground into rivers and lakes and oceans that like, I don't know, I'm a big believer in the water creatures because I think that there's just so many opportunities for them to slip away and for us not to see them, that I'm inclined to believe that there are these like huge, places underground where they can live and thrive and, have their home that we would never know, So I'm going to fact this 110. What do you got, Kari?
Wow.
I'm gonna give it like a 7.
Okay.
Because like I think a lot of it probably stems from it's like fairy tales. And
I think everything stems from fairy tales at the end of the day. That's the Bible.
These stories get passed down generation to generation. Like to stop, like I was saying earlier, there wasn't like the ability to pump out information really quickly to loads of people. So you have these stories to scare kids not to go near dangerous areas.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like similar to the story of saying that don't go near the river because there's bodies.
Yeah.
In a cultural way, like that's been carried through to telling kids not to go near the river because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And to respect bodies of water and not to be careless because the monster might get you, but really it's the monster is the water kind of thing.
Just describing the Bible to me. Bree, what are you giving it? Are you going to shit on our parade?
I don't know. I have a hard time.
Classic middle bitch.
Mhm.
Can you imagine you go out there to like put your unalive child in there and then like you look over and you see like your neighbor and you're just like, you give yourself a little winky wink, like a
little nod, little hey.
That's the third one this
What
year.
have I done?
Yeah. And then they go back to the water cooler and they're like, can you believe this is the third time this year Jessica's been down at the river throwing things in it?
Yeah, I think other than that, I find that it would be a hard tale just to tell children because it's the river, and I think that they fished a lot in the river.
She's shitting on our parade.
Japan is pretty hardcore. They're tough people in their culture, and I don't think they would tell their children stay away from the river. I think they'd be like, get on our boat, we're going fishing. I think they would see, but it does remind me of another cryptid that we did, and I can't even remember the name, but it was the same scenario where they couldn't afford the child, so they would unfortunately put it out and say that it was like a vampire-ish thing. Do you guys remember that?
I feel like I kind of remember what you're talking about. Like they try to, it's the cryptid of the gap theory.
Right.
Just blame the cryptid. Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of that. I mean,
I didn't kill my baby. It was the Bigfoot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens came and took.
So what's your number, Bree? Because you've been dancing around.
Yeah.
No, I'm working through it. I will probably.
You call it working. We call it dancing.
I am probably gonna middle bitch this one.
That's a safe bet. That's a safe bet.
Yeah.
I know Bobby's not here, but we do have
say no.
I think he would sci-fi it, but we do have something that's from Bobby.
Wow. Okay. Good job, Bobby.
So we have Yokai Monsters, which translates to 100 Monsters. It is a 1969 Japanese horror film, and you guys can all find it on Shudder. It is a rich landowner intends to tear down a local shrine and other houses to build a brothel. He holds a harashikara ceremony during which various tales of Yoko are told, such tales as Kashayakakabi and a long neck rakabarukaru. However, the landlord admits the purification ceremony at the end to ward off evil spirits conjured up during the telling of the tales, after which the landowner and his supporters are scared to death, are driven mad by the angered spirits who at the end of the movie are seen parading out of the town with barrels of sake.
So you just ruined the movie.
Oh, by the way, I have Shudder.
Do you?
Can I just say, yo, fuck yes, I do. I love horror movies.
Oh.
Shudder is probably one of the pay-me. It's one of the best horror like things you can subscribe to. It's really good. They get like stuff like this, stuff that nobody would ever see unless you were subscribed to something like this. Shudder is just so good.
Yeah, it is a subscription. It's not free, but it is like a lot of like B horror movies or things that aren't put out by major networks and stuff like that.
And B horror movies are the best.
Some of the best,
horror
yeah.
movies.
I just can't relate to that one.
Some of the best.
So
yeah,
there's
I haven't seen
times,
it, but
there's times where Danielle will be like, "What'd you do all day?" Because she'll be gone or whatever, and she'll come home and
she's
she'll be like,
abandoned
"What'd you do all
Good.
day?"
That's what you deserve.
And yeah, and I'll just go, "Well,
For
I
beating her.
watched." That was last week. But I watch like horrible B horror movies.
Do you
like,
wear a ghillie suit
all
while you watch
fucking
them?
day.
For
Yeah.
sure. He has 4 ghillie suits. But he's
But
been
you
wearing
like
the same but he's been wearing the same pair of pants since last Tuesday.
Right.
I will watch
You
the
like the
worst
shitty horror movies?
Yeah, I will watch the worst horror movies. And there's one, I forget what the fuck it's called. It has something to do with sharks. But it's the guy who played the villain in the first season of The Flash on CW. So Kari's about to look it up.
No. I'm not.
No.
Okay. So this dude, and this was back from like 2002, 2003. He just, in this Shark Attack movie, tells this girl, goes, "So, what do you say I eat your pussy?"
Oh,
And
he's
I'm
Donald
watching
Trump in it.
Yeah, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, okay, isn't there like a megalodon or it's like some giant shark?
Are you talking about
octopus?
Deep Blue Sea?
No, it's
No.
the fucking.
Okay.
And not Sharknado, because like people
No,
love
it's
that
not
shit, and I'm
Sharknado.
shocked.
But
Do they show
all of
stuff?
these movies. Not that. Thank God.
That's just like, but they just
Oh, yeah.
elusively do it.
They do-
And then
he's
does the
just like,
shark come at that moment though?
The shark does.
That's gross.
But she does.
Everyone comes at the same time, which is what the outcome we all want. Gotta be
But
respectful.
like I remember seeing that and I was like, oh my God, that's who fucking talks to people like that?
Tony, you watch some weird porn. I don't know if anyone's ever told
It
you
was
that.
not porn, it was a horror movie.
Later he'll go home and be like, oh shit,
Oh shit.
it was.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like,
If you want some real
yeah,
weird
maybe it
stuff,
was.
hit me up.
That was 3 girls, 1 great white. Oh.
And Tony was the great white. All right. I think that was a fun episode, you guys.
fun.
We are not going to be here next Tuesday because it is 4th of July. And in American fashion, all of the Americans on our channel will be drunk by a pool because that is how we celebrate 4th of July. I don't know what Kari will be doing.
I'll
because
be lamenting the loss of the colonies.
I was like, yeah, because we're literally celebrating how we got away from you. So I won't be texting you that day. You should be texting me apologies that day that I will not be responding to.
You will get no reparations from me.
You should send me.
Okay.
You should send me cups of tea
Yeah.
that I will
No,
then pour
I'll
out into the ocean.
Into the ocean.
Yeah,
But you got to
exactly.
dress like a native to sow dissent in order. Yeah,
That's
what
right.
that's what
We're
really
not
happened.
gonna dress
But that's
like
what
the
really
people
happened.
You oppressed. Hold on.
Yeah.
Always what I taught.
Get a last minute plane ticket to California. We're having a 4th of July party.
Yeah, my plan is to go and see Brie and be by her pool and be drunk with her, preferably drowning myself in the bottom of her pool.
If you want to emergency evacuate me to California, that would be great.
Pure Jamie style.
I say it because that's happened before, and Brie had to jump in several times and save me. If no one knows the story, I don't remember this because I was blackout drunk. But when she told me about it, I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds like something I would do."
Thought it was the
Right.
funniest thing in the
Funniest thing
world to
we
just be like,
saved.
dead man. And I would wait because I knew she was fucking with me. but she waited until I would
I could hold my
jump
breath for
in
a
the
long
pool
time,
and
yeah.
pull her up, and she'd just be like, like the second you pull her out of the water, and then she'd wait and go, right.
Listen, you guys, I am fun to hang out with. I don't know why Brie wants me to go to her. She's like, yeah, Jamie, come drink at my house next to a pool. Come do that again.
That's the shit that kills people. They get too drunk and they're just fucking
Literally.
around. Like, could you imagine if I walked away and then
Could
they're
be
just
in
Then I
so
like drowned
lame.
in the bottom of the pool. Yeah.
Jamie's mind, she's
being-
like, that bitch will come. No, she'll come. And then she falls
She'll come,
asleep.
she'll come.
She just chokes on water.
Me and Jamie would definitely be the people who would get super fucking drunk and be like, who can hold their breath?
I don't remember any of this. Brie had to, the only thing I remember is at the end of the day, her husband came home and I was literally laying on the concrete outside by the pool.
Oh, he showed me a picture of it the other day.
Yeah, and I remember him literally kicking me and being like, "Do you need a ride home?" And I was just like, "Yes, please, yes." And I remember he drove my car with me in it, and Brie followed behind, and they like pushed me back into my house, and I don't think I came out for a good 24 hours.
You were very sick. You were very sick.
I was super sick the next day. Yeah.
And it was your
Sounds
idea
right.
to drink what we drank and how we drank it.
Yeah, we got smashed. We did as many White Claws as we could, just back to back, shotgunning them, like literally like 10 of them.
Oh my god! If I drink 10 White Claws, I would have the
I've never had a White
for
Claw.
like 42 years.
Oh, I didn't shit, just drowning.
No,
White Claw
Claws
makes
is
me want to
great.
kill myself. Use that for your
No.
marketing.
She was also trying to do the splits and light a cigarette at the same time multiple times, and it kept
Sounds
breaking.
about right.
And she
Word.
was still trying. She was like, no, I'm going to get this.
I'm gonna do this.
Do not remember any of this.
I applaud that level of fucking determination.
To be fair, I do not get that drunk ever. That's like a once in a lifetime Jamie opportunity right there. Is it not, Brie? I don't ever get like that.
I've never seen you like that, I don't think.
I don't get like that at all.
Eventually, that's how you ended up on the floor, because you were just kept trying to do those splits, and eventually you just boom, and you just dead.
I just remember your husband kicking me and taking me home. That's the only thing I remember from that. I remember doing the shots. I remember Nicole in the pool and me like dancing at the front of the pool, and then I don't remember anything after that until your husband kicked me.
Oh my god, he probably was nudging you, like, also, and I know for a fact he probably was nudging, not kicking Jamie.
But to
Because when we
me,
dropped
the
you
way
off-
I did it, it was like he kicked me and I was like, what?
when we dropped you off, you were just like, Brie did this to me. Brie made me drink all of this. Brie was pressuring me to drink all of these White Claws with her.
I was talking shit the whole ride, wasn't I?
And I was like, it was all her idea. She wanted to do it all for TikTok. And she just literally made it seem like I forced her.
That's why I smoke marijuana,
Forced
ladies
her.
and gentlemen, because I don't try to drown myself when I do the marijuana. Yeah, Brie, you're a bad influence. That was my point. My point was that Brie's an influence.
Yeah.
She
know,
fed me
that's
those
okay.
White Claws. Although we
That's
found
okay.
out the easiest way to chug White Claws is when they're not cold and when they're room temperature. You can get the whole thing down in like 1.2 seconds, literally.
Sarah
they're
told me I was
nasty.
a bad influence, actually, when we were in Mexico.
Oh,
Then,
see? So
she-
you are.
We drank a lot this weekend.
see?
And then she was like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
Brie
gonna
was in
take it easy
Mexico,
today.
everyone.
Oh yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it easy because like we're working. We're there to work. But we're in Mexico. I'm like, tequila. She's like, you're a bad influence. Like,
Mhm.
So if y'all don't know, if y'all didn't realize from the video, the vlog that we did, Brie doesn't fucking drink beer. She doesn't fucking do cocktails. Brie does fucking tequila.
Tequila.
And it's
I'm
not
drinking beer right now, but yeah.
I was like, she drinks
was
beer, but
great.
there were several times, yeah, she would. The best way I can describe it is like a raccoon going through trash, being like, let me going through the crowd, like I get to the front of the bar, I gotta order my shot. Little raccoon pause.
I do. Enzo knows I do like those white wine spritzers, but
Yeah, white wine spritzers, yeah.
because I was working and it was the end of the day because I just worked
You just
through
shot
the
it.
whole 24 hours. It's just better to just have straight tequila and not worry about like
The rest of it,
sugar.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Just
Because then I
get-
can
yeah,
wake
like-
up the next day and I'm good to go.
And listen, you have a destination you're trying to get to. It's not about the journey for you. It's about the destination on this one.
Yep.
No.
Yeah,
Not
that's
at
what-
all.
No, when it comes to drinking, that's
No,
how
yeah.
it is to drinking. I'm not trying to take a long route when I drink. I'm trying to get to the point as fast as
Trying to get
possible.
there.
Yeah,
It was really
exactly.
funny in Mexico that our waiter kept being like, "These two are crazy," like to Josh and I. Because like we would be like doubles and then done, and then he'd come back and be like, "These two are crazy."
Just drinking tequila like it's water. Well, that's what happens. Like, I'm kind of the same way though. I don't really drink a lot of tequila anymore because no matter how much of it I drink, it's not like it's getting me like fucked up or anything. Like other people have such horrible experience. They're like, "Oh, tequila fucking destroy." I'm like the opposite. I'm like, tequila is the one alcohol where I've never had any issues with it. I've had more issues with vodka than I ever had tequila.
And you have to get the right tequila too, which I need to
Always
start doing my
silver, never
research on.
gold, never gold.
But there's some types of tequila that are like 100% agave. They don't have any other extra additives, and it can be considered a stimulant and
Mhm.
can be the least amount of calories and sugar for you.
Mhm.
So I need to.
I
learn more
highly
about tequila.
suggest, Bree, that the next time you go to Mexico, you try to convince them to take you to Cozumel, which has one of the
Yep.
tequila places there. And I've went and toured it before. The tour guide hated me because I knew more facts than him. And I did that very Jamie thing where he would say something and then I would say more facts. And he was like, "Hey, buddy, I'm doing the tour." And I was like, "Oh, no, you should just let me do it. I know more than you." So it was like one of those. And I went through like the whole thing about like the plants, how they grow and how they like take them down and how they like do all that. And it was the coolest fucking thing in the world. Like not like a factory where they're bottling it. I mean, literally where they make it at.
Right.
I just want to say I would never have ice cubes in milk, you heathen.
Yeah, that sounds gross. Who said
That's
that?
gross.
Who
don't
did
do
that?
Horchata.
I will
Jo-
say that
Joe said that.
Corey is a psychopath and just like stands in the kitchen and drinks like giant glasses of milk by themselves with nothing else.
I do that.
I like milk.
Apparently
Milk
that's
is really
apparently that's like a
good.
psychopath thing. That's what the internet says. That's like a crazy person thing. And I'm like,
Drinking coffee black is a psychopath thing.
Yeah.
I think drinking coffee black is a crazy thing. I agree. I like a lot of cream and sugar.
I do
in
it
mine.
every day.
Yeah, me too. But I like milk.
I could drink it. I could do it.
Bree's
No,
like,
I-
I just want coffee sometimes. It doesn't matter. I just need it. Put it in my vein.
I could do it.
I literally drink 1 or 2 black coffees every morning.
Ew, it's Danielle. It's your wife. Ugh. No wonder you hit her.
Before we incriminate ourselves any fucking further, does
Joe was
anybody
right.
has anybody
Lawyer
else-
up.
anything
Lawyer
else to
up.
say?
Lawyer up.
Oh yeah, is you a paper Meg
Jesus.
walking?
Yeah, I should stop connecting myself and my work with you guys. I should just careful what shirts I wear too.
Like, oh no. I love you, Danielle. I'm sorry. I was just I do it for the funnies.
It's for the lulz.
Nah.
I'm wearing my
Uh,
vintage contact and desert Hawaiian shirt.
I love it. That's a
Howdy,
shirt that came all the
Baba.
way from America that I gave to Kari.
Tadu, I was
Even-
going to start to plan
And
their
I
next
gave
get
one
together.
I gave one to Tony, but he didn't accept it and left it in my room.
I
It had
was
tigers
high
on
as
it.
fuck.
You were high as fuck. When is the next meetup?
Yeah, when's the next meetup, Bree?
We're
When's our
thinking
next
Vegas,
get
right?
together? Come to Vegas, everyone. I'm telling you, sleepover. We'll get little like I have blow up mattresses we'll put up.
July. Let's see, what am
Oh,
I doing in
yeah.
July? I may go 1 or 2 places in July.
Wow.
I'm not going to Mexico until the end of August. We could go
August.
the beginning of August. We could do. Oh shit.
Bree's like,
I'm
never
so-
mind.
Yeah, we need to go. We need to go really. We need to go really
Really
soon.
soon.
We need to go really soon.
sooner rather than later. Come to
I'm so
Kansas.
tired of
Yeah, let's go to
airplanes.
Kansas and
Really
hang out in
soon.
fields. Yeah. No, come to Vegas. Come to Vegas so we can hang out on this, not the strip. We should stay at the Fremont.
Boo.
What?
Okay. Well, we'll get into it.
All right, all right. Do we have
Area
any
51 though.
Figure it out.
Yeah, Area 51. Do we have any final thoughts of the episode, you guys? My final thought is I could give 2 shits less about anything and everything. Fuck the world.
I think if you're watching, if you found this entertaining in our banter, like, subscribe, hit the little thumbs up
That would be
button,
kind.
leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Leave a comment because that really helps our videos, and follow us on whatever the fuck you want to. I don't
For sure. Kari, any final thoughts?
Keep it breezy, cowabunga.
Bree's
Ooh.
final thoughts are she is not associated with us in any capacity. All of our thoughts and opinions are not Bree's, but we do have a new Bria the Explorer that we are going to be turning into a sticker.
Yeah.
So everyone marvel at this beauty that I've made. It's so good.
I want that
I
on
will
my computer
say,
case.
the thoughts and comments on this episode do not pertain necessarily to the thoughts that Brianna feels.
Yeah.
No, but really, stay golden, pony boy.
Yeah, for
Stay
sure.
golden.
Kari, why don't you
Golden.
roll that beautiful, beautiful bean footage?
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go beat my wife.
I thought you say beat your meat.
Fuck these people.
Jesus Christ.
Death to all of them.
And lawyer up.
And lawyer up.
All right, let's get out of
Later,
here.
people.
Bye.